What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. We just got another new blog post outlining upcoming changes for Overwatch 2, this time focusing specifically on hero balance and some of the upcoming changes we'll be seeing with that when Overwatch 2 launches. This includes balance tweaks for individual heroes, some overall general role changes and general balance mechanics that are getting shifted around a bit, as well as a bit of philosophy regarding how exactly Blizzard is going to be going about handling balance changes going forward. So without further ado, let's just jump right on in and read through this article to see all the details it has in store. So, Overwatch 2 developer blog, tuning hero balance for launch. Balancing with seasonal releases. Overwatch 2 brings with it a new 9-week season cadence that will consistently introduce new maps, heroes, game modes, and more for players to experience. For heroes more specifically, our plan is to typically release a new hero every other season, which, combined with our ongoing addition of new maps and game modes and our regular balance updates, should reward different strategies and playstyles, keeping the game fresh and dynamic for years to come. Importantly, each season will also see impactful hero balance changes as the season begins to support our goals of constantly balancing the game and keeping the live service feeling dynamic. This means new seasons will feel more distinct and special, with balance changing significantly when we move to the next season. We are also prepared to make additional balance adjustments if the need within a season arises to manage hero balance and power and keep our game feeling fair and fun. Alright, getting into some actual specific hero changes now. Junker Queen, commanding shout, allied health bonus reduced from 100 to 50 HP, allied duration reduced from 5 to 3 seconds, temporary health no longer decays over its duration, and cooldown increased from 11 to 15 seconds. Based on data and feedback received from beta testing, and more recently from observing professional play, we believe the temporary health granted by Junker Queen's shout ability has proven too strong overall and enabled a dominating team composition at the very upper ranks of play. Reducing the health gain and duration while increasing the ability's cooldown are intended to reduce the overall power of this ability and make its use more deliberate and less forgiving. We'll continue to monitor Junker Queen's performance and win rate, as well as broader player sentiment in the weeks following launch. A new general change, temporary health now grants 50% reduced ultimate charge instead of 0 ultimate charge. Temporary health not giving ultimate charge added a lot of hidden strength to its effect, reducing consequences for riskier decisions and playstyles. This is particularly effective in instances where you can grant temporary health to other players. For the players doling out the damage, doing significant damage but gaining no ult charge can be particularly frustrating and unrewarding. With this change, our goal is to preserve some of the advantages granted by temporary health while adding a reward for players who contribute to their teams through damage dealt. Damage roll passive, new passive, eliminations grant 25% increased reload and movement speed for 2.5 seconds. Does not stack with itself, but will refresh the duration. And all heroes now refund up to 30% ultimate power on hero swap. Now, these two to me seem pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and hear what the devs have to say regarding these decisions. Upon announcing the change for up to 30% ultimate power to transfer when swapping DPS heroes, we saw a lot of feedback asking why that wasn't a broader change for all heroes. After continued testing, we agree, and we are making a change so the entire roster should have access to as we launch. Of course, that means the DPS role once again finds itself without a role passive. So, along with this change, we're introducing a new passive to DPS that increases their movement speed and reload speed by 25% for a brief window after getting an elimination. We believe that this change is the right balance of rewarding players who perform well in the damage role without being overpowered. However, in future seasons, we may continue to experiment with what these passives do as we look to shake up the meta regularly. These are interesting ones. The 30% ultimate power being carried over for all heroes instead of just DPS. Okay, that makes sense. If you're going to give it to the DPS, why not give it to everyone? But the 25% increased reload and movement speed following eliminations, that just feels like a very random sort of passive to give damage heroes. Like, I guess Blizzard just wanted damage heroes to have something, and after they made that 30% ultimate power swap, like, just for everybody, damage heroes needed something, so they're like, give them this weird little buff. I don't know, this feels like something that they might end up changing in the future. Like, it just feels so random and so arbitrary of a passive that, I don't know, like, what's even the point, I guess? I wouldn't be surprised to see them either tweak it in some way or just change it to some different type of role passive at some point later down the line. Anyways, getting on to more specific hero balance changes that'll be coming with launch of Overwatch 2. Orisa, base health increased from 250 to 275, base armor increased from 250 to 275, and energy javelin cooldown reduced from 8 to 6 seconds. For a hero rework that had been lauded as fun to play, hard to kill, and particularly potent for an all-in-your-face tank playstyle, Orisa continues to be a challenging hero to balance, with one of the lowest win rates in the game. Giving a hero more health is a reliable solution, and increasing the frequency of her energy javelin should keep her feeling active and more effective as she charges down the front line. Diva Boosters impact damage increased from 10 to 25, micro missiles cooldown reduced from 8 to 7 seconds, and Call Mech ultimate cost reduced by 12%. Diva has been slightly underperforming in comparison to other tanks in 5v5. Increasing the damage on Boosters impact will add more weight to that rush-in moment for her, leaning into her strengths as a fast-moving engager who can push deep into the enemy lines. Brigitte, inspired duration reduced from 6 to 5 seconds. Even with the removal of stun from her shield bash, Brigitte continues to be very strong in 5v5, especially in team compositions that take full advantage of the passive healing provided by Inspire. This change doesn't affect Brigitte's raw healing per second, however it should make her overall effectiveness less generous in situations where she's unable to reapply Inspire. Baptiste, Biotic Launcher primary fire damage increased from 24 to 25, Biotic Launcher primary fire minimum fall-off range increased from 20 to 25 meters, Mercy, pressing crouch during Guardian Angel now launches you straight up, and Angelic Descent can now be activated by holding crouch while airborne. Mercy's beta change, allowing her to Guardian Angel cancel and boost where she is looking, added a substantial amount of flexibility to her movement. However, boosting upward was difficult for many players, given that they needed to quickly look up before activating and then look down again to survey the battlefield. To address this, the crouch input will now launch her upwards regardless of her facing direction. In addition, crouch will also activate Angelic Descent while in the air, similar to jump. This adds a much needed quality of life improvement when performing the vertical boost with crouch. Bastion, Ironclad passive is enabled again, 20% damage reduction while transformed. Since introducing the newly upgraded Bastion, we've tracked a general sentiment about his new kit being a bit too potent, particularly when in sentry form. To address this previous concern, we removed the Ironclad passive with a goal of reining in that perceived power. Now that we've had more time and game data to evaluate, we believe that returning the Ironclad passive will not push him over the edge. Awesome. I'm glad that Bastion's getting Ironclad back because it's definitely a helpful little passive for him to have. Reaper, Hellfire shotgun spread reduced from 8 to 7 degrees. Sojourn, railgun energy gain from non-player targets, barriers, turrets, etc. reduced by an additional 50%. And Sombra, hack ability lockout duration increased from 1 to 1.75 seconds. The duration of hack's ability lockout often goes unnoticed unless it's being used as an active interrupt. While we're not looking to go back to previous lockout numbers, we do want Sombra to have slightly more time to feel as though the ability is effective. This change stays in line with our goals of less crowd control abilities in Overwatch 2, and we'll continue to closely monitor performance data and player feedback to ensure that this remains the case. Like all of you, we're eagerly anticipating the launch of Overwatch 2 on October 4th. The team has been hard at work in finishing touches and tons of new content for the months ahead. We'll have much more to share about Overwatch 2 over the next several weeks leading up to launch. So there you go, a handful of balance changes coming to the game with the launch of Overwatch 2. Now, I do believe a number of these changes had been leaked preemptively, so if they sound familiar, that's probably why you've seen them somewhere before. Overall, I mean, they're balance changes, nothing too ridiculous as far as I'm concerned in terms of tweaking heroes. The Junker Queen nerf definitely seemed necessary, and I'm a bit surprised she didn't get something a bit more severe in the nerf department, but we'll see how it plays out. Certainly she has a lot of strong elements in her kit, but we'll have to actually play her again in the live game to know how these changes really impact her overall. Again, the changes they've made to the hero ultimate carryover whenever you swap heroes, as well as the new damage roll passive, are interesting changes that I'm sort of curious to see how those end up really feeling in-game. Obviously, the ultimate percent carryover will definitely have an impact on certain heroes in particular who can maybe charge their ult quickly and then, swap to a hero who is a bit longer of an ult charge. We'll see how that plays out. I don't expect that to play much of a role in that regard. But the damage roll passive specifically, the 25% increased reload and movement for 2.5 seconds after killing an enemy, that'll be an interesting one. I almost wonder if it'll even be noticeable. Like, will you ever be able to actually utilize those bonuses effectively in like a life or death situation where you use that speed boost to survive something you otherwise wouldn't have? I don't know. That'll be a fun one to play around with, assuming it's even noticeable. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on the changes announced here today by dropping a comment down below. Do you like the general direction many of these changes are taking the game and heroes? Or maybe there's some of them you disagree with. Either way, I'd love to hear from you, and as always, be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch 2 news and content. And special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible. If you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. And otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.